So friends, I've got Tara Smith, my business partner. Secretly, if I was a woman, I'd aspire to be you, but
thank
I can't.
you.
So
if I were a man, I would maybe be you.
I would make better choices than that. We've come into each other's world probably, last 18 months or so?
Yep. Just a little over a year ago.
It's been weird how the stars have aligned, but we got in business together starting around January, right?
Yeah.
The Keller Williams Global Market Center.
Beginning of December.
Yeah. I heard all these negative things about you. I was like, that can't be true.
I hope they're all true.
Well, they were fine. But
As long as it was fun, I hope it was true.
It was fun, definitely fun. Let's get right into it. Tell us who you are, what you're passionate about, and what it is that could change somebody's life today.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. I'm Tara, and it's interesting you asked that question. So I was on social media a couple days ago, and somebody asked, like, what is the most valuable resource in your life or whatever? And people were answering things. Immediately my mind said people.
Okay.
And so, like, what am I about? People.
People.
I grew up in a Pentecostal religion, which is very
strict.
Very strict.
Yeah.
Very similar to like the Amish. Hopefully I don't break any rules here, but my closest friend in elementary school was a girl that was Amish. And we hung out a little bit because we weren't allowed to do a lot of the just the normal things that kids did. Like, I didn't have a TV growing up. I'm an 80s baby. I don't know any of the titles to the 80s songs. I haven't seen the music videos. And so what's really interesting is it allowed me to kind of sit on the sidelines and just watch people and read people and try to figure out what to say and how to behave around people in a dynamic that I just kind of didn't fit in.
Right.
And so that has led me to a place in life now where I kind of am a chameleon with people.
Okay.
But
That's scary.
It is scary. But I just see people for people.
Right.
And we work really hard in all of our companies to have an inclusive culture where people are just valued for who they are, and they can come as they are at whatever spot they are at in their journey and feel not only welcome, but like cheered on to whatever's next for them. So that's kind of a little bit about what my heart is about.
So this is, again, why I think we're in alignment is like, you say stuff all the time and you articulate things that I think in my brain, and you do it so concisely, it drives me crazy. You say you're a chameleon. I feel like that's me too. Like I can, and I go back, I love Rudyard Kipling, walk with kings, but keep your common touch.
Yeah.
Like the ability to have conversations with, I think Mark Willis just texted you. But then go cry with a baby agent that, has the weight of the world on her shoulders, and you can resonate with that. I think it's very powerful.
Well, yeah, and then I think if you actually value people and you're good with your time, you can actually be where your feet are, right? So it's like, I know today I have a lot of important meetings, but in this space of time, this is the most important thing. And so I can be really present here because you're going to probably say something that I'm going to latch onto and carry with me for weeks and months, and I'll tell other people you shared it, and it may be forever, right? So there's like little magic things that happen in our worlds if we are looking for them.
I'm skipping down because I know I'm going to drop this on everybody for sake of time because our time constraints intentionally are tight on this. So people, purpose, passion, work ethic, unique ability, and magic.
I knew you were going to just dump them all on me.
I just dump it on, yeah.
I knew that was
but you
happen.
went to magic, so I think the power of and how do you qualify magic? Because I've heard that word a lot. Again, social media or something I read is the magic in the world that you want is in the work that you're not willing to do.
Yeah.
I've just I keep doing this so that the magic shows up. So the word magic has manifested itself in my world for whatever reason. Now you just said it.
Yeah, it's like my jam. So I just read recently a book called The Surrender Experiment.
Okay.
And Deepak Chopra wrote it. And basically, actually, I don't know if that one was Deepak Chopra. I think it was. Anyway, he talks about how the world around us has all kinds of cool things happening and little like signs and cues. And if we don't pay attention to any of it, we just go through life with our eyes closed.
Right.
But if we're looking for things specifically, like use the word manifestation, it's like what you focus on expands. That's a bold law.
Yeah, that's weird.
If you're focusing on how amazing something is going to be, let's just use like husband and wife.
Yep.
You're married to your partner. You may not even be married. You just have a significant other in your life, and they do something that just irritates the heck out of you. And so then every time they do it, it irritates you and irritates you and irritates you. And then it becomes something else that irritates you, and what you focus on expands. And so all of a sudden you could look up and say, I actually don't even like this person.
Right.
Why am I in this partnership anymore? Or we can get up and we can think about the one or two things we're really grateful for about the partner.
Right.
And we can go, wow, this person is amazing in this way. Look at how that thing enriches our partnership.
Right.
And then you find another thing they do really well and another thing they do really well. And you look up and you feel like the most grateful human on the planet to be the person that gets to be their partner.
Yeah.
And it's truly about that. And so I think the magic in our world is actually choosing what you're going to see and then keeping your eyes wide open. And literally every single day, probably 10 times a day, when you're actually in tune to this, it's like you're being guided through your life and validates your passions and your purpose,
Yeah.
right? Which
are also two of the things that you're excited about.
Yeah, so I think magic is everywhere.
So you said what you focus on expands. Before I came to Keller, I would live by this phrase. It was whatever you were looking for, you'll find it. Similar, right?
It's exactly the same thing.
If you want to wake up every day and find out what's wrong with your partner, you're going to talk about the things that are wrong with your relationship.
That's all you'll see.
Or you can focus on, what are the good things. Yeah.
I love Jennifer Smith.
I love Jennifer Smith.
I think you're a pretty lucky guy.
Yes, I am over my skis. Yes.
And my beau is pretty special too.
Yes, we got some.
They'd have to be with us.
Yeah, it takes a really
It's a
magical
full-time
person.
job.
I agree. She actually called me. I'm gonna have to call her back here in a second. But you lead with gratitude. You focus on what you want to bring to your world. You love people. I think learning people, and I think learning people starts with learning yourself. And I think a lot of people forget how to develop. And I'm on that journey too. You're always on a journey. Like whether you're not on an exercise journey anymore.
Don't do exercise. It's become an unhealthy thing. I am reading a book right now. I can't remember the title. I just started it on my way into Louisville today about your shadow self, also written by Deepak Chopra and a couple of other really known authors. That goes back to unique ability. So your unique ability is the thing you have that I call your secret sauce. It's unique to you. And if you go back to, not to go like too deep into this, but like every one of us had a childhood, and we probably had, I think probably every person has trauma of some sort. We have life experiences that were difficult. And so when you have a difficult life experience, the choice is, do you let that define who you are, or do you move through that to become a better version of yourself? And if we looked at trauma and heartache that way, we would actually see it as a stepping stone to our unique ability. So I talked a little bit about not fitting in anywhere growing up.
Right.
That is now my unique ability.
That you can fit in anywhere.
Well, it is, but it's also that I felt it didn't feel good. Like, I'm telling you how it was, but being a kid where you like couldn't participate in a lot of things. Like we didn't do Santa Claus growing up. I couldn't do any like holidays that were like considered like pagan. So Easter, didn't do Easter egg hunts, like a lot of normal things. So that wasn't easy as a child, but what it has allowed me to do as an adult is to just appreciate every single person where they're at. So it's less about being the chameleon. It's more about, I've experienced that. So I can usually empathize with where somebody else is and just understand that they're on their own journey.
I think you said it. So like I'm trying to figure out how to process things that come out of your mouth all the time. And I'm like, so I think about, you said be where your feet are.
Yeah.
And that's where, and I think that's, I'm hearing what I'm hearing and help me sharpen my understanding of this. When you say you're a chameleon, you're actually saying I can be present with the person that's present with me at that moment. And it's not necessarily about me changing who I am. I just know where they are. They're not good, they're bad, they're another human being just like I am.
Yeah.
And I can experience the world with them in that moment.
Yeah, and you can also know that. I mean, I will occasionally meet someone and be like, "This is not a nice human." You will generally hear
Right.
me say, of all of their traits, I will say, "This is not a nice human,"
Right.
which I think kindness is like kind of the core of humanity.
Right.
Like, if
Should be.
somebody needs a drink of water, you hand them a drink of water.
Right.
If you're not a nice human, you're probably going to be like, "I'm not giving you my water," right? So I think that our ability to just know everybody is on a journey.
Right.
And the other thing is everybody filters through their own lenses. So I could say this coffee is really good
Right.
because you made it for
Thank
me.
you. I
course, it's
made it with
amazing.
love. Yeah.
However, if I was speaking to somebody that had a really traumatic life experience pertaining to coffee, it doesn't matter what's in this cup, their insides are not in a good spot.
Right.
So it's like we have to understand that it's not about what we say, it's about the filters that people run things through.
Right.
And that's what they actually hear. And so we can take off our rose-colored glasses or our black shades or whatever else, just whatever we filter with, darkness, light, or whatever. And when we're with someone, we're just with them.
Right. I love that. I love that. You said something just then. You talked about you didn't do things that were normal. And
What is normal?
exactly. So Dan Martell, who wrote Buy Back Your Time? Is it Dan Martell? Yeah. So he talks about if you want to be normal, be normal. But you can't live a normal life and expect extraordinary results. He's like, so if somebody says you're extra, like embrace it. Like, you're extra. Okay. Well, did
Yeah.
you want normal? Did
Yeah.
you want easy? Because that's not what I'm about.
Yeah, Bo and I laugh. So one of my favorite phrases, passion goes all directions.
Okay.
So that means that if you want the extraordinary person that gets amazing results, you're probably going to get their passion heading in the wrong direction somewhere else. And that came from the book Relentless, right? So in the book Relentless, Tim
Hold
Grover.
on, say that again. Sorry, back me up because I'm now like.
Yeah, passion goes all directions.
So if somebody's like hard drive, arbitrary, recruiter, relentless communicator, they're just constantly trying to attract people.
Yep. They
What's the
probably,
back end?
but in this book, the dark side shows up a lot of different ways. It
Yeah.
could be drinking, it could be drugs, it could be shopping, it could be sex. I mean, the person that they used in that was, who's the golfer?
God, how are you gonna bring Tiger Woods? into
Tiger
this?
Woods.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was
But
like,
that is the story in
Yeah.
the book, and they talk about how. And so the thing is, and I'm not saying every high achiever has a dark side, but I'm just saying there has to be a release somewhere. So unless you figure out how to meditate, or like for me, I spend a lot of time outside when the weather's not, like I literally live outside
Right.
with my shoes off because I live in Kentucky, so that's kind of a
how do
thing.
you deal with bugs?
We get our yard sprayed.
Okay.
We don't have bugs.
No bugs. There's
I'll
no
give you
bugs.
a good referral to
Okay,
Mosquito
yes.
Joe. But the point of it is there's got to be a release somewhere. Like,
Right.
you've got to find a place to let it go, because that same drive is going to go in whatever direction it's headed in.
Right.
That's sorry.
No, you're fine. Like, I'm like literally like thinking about like I'm so like so I'm in this.
Can't be perfect everywhere, Jimmy.
Right, but I try to be. I want to be.
No,
but
you
you
don't.
think about you're trying like it's almost like close the back door, right? Mm-hmm. You're so hyper focused on I want to be the best leader for my team. I want to be the best husband. Then what passion directions going the wrong way?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Kind of this really came from my husband,
Yeah.
because Bo gets heated very quickly.
Right.
We deal with emotion differently.
Yeah.
He kind of explodes, and I hold it all inside.
Yep.
And then it just comes out
See-
somewhere else, right?
See, I explode all the time, and I'm like,
It's healthier.
it's healthier
actually
for me
healthier.
than because if I hold it in, it just tears me up. So I just get it out and I move on.
Yeah, that's Bo.
But
And-
it also manifests itself in relationships as controlling, domineering, angry,
Yeah, I just
unstable.
kind of laughed. Like when I first saw that, I was like, "Well, that's cute." That didn't
Is
go
it-
well.
is it
I
so
was like,
cu-
"Hey, do you feel better?"
is it so cute now?
It's really cute. But the reality is the same thing that comes out in that emotion is the thing that allows him to get in front of a room of 100 people and tell an amazing story with all of his heart. And
Right.
people, there's not a dry eye in the room. It's just passion going in different directions. So you got to take it all.
All right, I've got on our timer 3 minutes. And I know how valuable time is, and that makes you 6 minutes late to your next appointment. Is it a hard stop in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, then what did we not cover? What did we not cover about? Can we do another episode maybe next time you come in? People, purpose, passion. You didn't talk about work ethic, and give us something for people obviously we're in business, we're in real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody's business looks at something different. Talk to me about how to get the most out of yourself as a business owner.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about work ethic. We talked about being where your feet are. What I will tell you is what my mentor told me, which is bloom where you're planted.
Okay.
And so if you aspire to do great things, you show up in today's opportunity really well, and you start dressing, learning, and behaving like the next one that you want. And what a lot of people do is they go, well, one day I'll just use Keller Williams for example. I'm an operating principal for 3 market centers. We have 700 agents. First of all, people go, one day I want to be you. And I just laugh like, okay, that's cute.
Yeah.
But the other one is like, here's the thing, there's nothing extra special about me, right? It's just that every opportunity I got, I gave 100%. And if you do that, there's going to be another opportunity. And I was never actually qualified for the next role I took, but I started showing up that way. So here's an example. The last year I sold real estate full time, I sold 78 houses.
Right.
And I got up every day, whether I had an appointment or not, and I put on a suit and I went to my office and I made my calls.
Right.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't have any appointments, so I'm not going to go into the office today.
Yeah.
Or, well, I don't have any appointments, so I'm just going to wear my yoga pants and a t-shirt. The reality is if you want to be the millionaire real estate agent, that's not that big of a deal. It's not. Anybody can do it.
Yeah,
Anybody can do
Yeah.
it.
And you take out the number and you take out the profession.
Just
I
get
want to be
up.
the $500,000 dishwasher.
Just get up
Yeah.
and get dressed and start showing up in your world like you think a millionaire would. And a millionaire gets up and there's a few things. You come a little bit early, you stay a little bit late, and you give about 5% more than anybody else.
Right.
And if you do that, anything will be possible in your world.
Do you know how to survive a bear attack?
Yeah, you outrun the man behind you.
That's exactly what
There's your secret.
That was not scripted
There's
at
your
all.
secret to success, Jimmy. Just run faster than the one person behind you.
Exactly. You said something. I say create your own situation. That goes back to my baseball days. Like you want to be able to score a run, create your own situation. Like it doesn't matter what's in front of you. If you need somebody on second base, hit a double.
Yeah.
Right? And then dress for the job you want.
Dress for the job you want, not the one you have. The other thing I'll say is be masterful about your time.
Yep.
You're not going to learn time management as you progress. I mean, it's like a skill you learn from day one. Here's how I learned it. I scheduled a showing with someone on a foreclosure probably 10 years ago, and I forgot the appointment. I missed it.
Right.
And I was lucky enough that when I texted her and said, oh my gosh, did you show up? I got behind or it slipped my mind because I don't know how you do that as a real estate agent and
Right.
miss an appointment. But I was lucky enough that she had missed it too.
Right.
So neither of us showed up,
Right.
but the reality was, and I was probably in my mid-20s, I thought, man, when I'm by the time I'm 35, 40, I'm not going to be able to manage this because I can't even remember where
Right.
I'm supposed to be today.
Yep.
And so start managing and time blocking and being present in your schedule. That'll allow you to maximize your time and get more done in less time. It's the number
Love it.
one skill I think
Yeah.
successful people have is time management.
Have you watched Rob Dyrdek? Watch him about time. 10 minutes of him talking about time management, time blocking is very inspiring. My problem with time blocking, I go end to end. I book at 10 to 10:30, at 10:30 to 11. I got to get better about
Then you just
the
have to
space.
stop.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need a space. You just have to stop on time.
Right. Well, speaking of which, we're 7 minutes late. Thanks, homie.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yep. All right. Talk to you soon.